regular board meeting of Wednesday, June 12th. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mary, would take roll?
Murray?
Here.
Job? Here. Swanky here. Patrick?
Yep.
Jim had another commitment, so he's excused.
Set and amend the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve agenda as
Are we
presented.
going to be discussing it after it's approved? Or are we going to amend it? Because are we going to approve it and then have discussion on it? I have a couple questions on the agenda.
We had Scotty have a second. Was it
Yeah, it was
seconded? Oh,
seconded,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry,
I
Monica.
think it
Okay.
was
I didn't hear Monica. You seconded it?
No, I
Oh.
didn't.
Oh, then I'll
Okay, well,
second it, and then we can have discussion.
Okay, what it is item, I didn't get it, G, Siebert and Delaski invoice 13040. I want to pull the bills as well. I want to pull the attorney bills. So can you tell me what that invoice is about, that Siebert and Delaski
Well,
invoice?
it's on the agenda, so I imagine we'll get to it there.
There's copies of it in there.
Oh, I didn't see.
So we can pull the bills and the attorney.
I don't have it.
Okay.
It's in your packet.
This is my whole packet. I've got that.
I made copies for everybody. It has a sticker on it.
Is it this? No, I didn't see it.
No.
I don't have anything.
So you can call a roll. Or all in favor.
I want this bill, well, if we're gonna get to it then.
I can just make another
But
copy.
I still, could you,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, no
Because I would
problem.
like to have it,
Yep.
because I don't have it.
Yep. Yeah, it was given to you earlier, and then it was added to the packet. I make a copy when we first get it in, so it should have been, you probably got it like last week.
No, then, you know what, I
Yeah.
pick them up piecemeal.
Okay, yep,
Because I pick them up when I
okay. No problem.
it,
I'll
so
just go make a
that
copy
would
of
be
that. That's fine.
great.
Yep.
I was hoping the attorney was gonna be here today. All of these attorney bills, I see that we did get correspondence, we'll talk about that too, under correspondence.
Wasn't that just the attorney bills that you pulled out?
But no, I pulled out, yeah, I've got attorney bills, I want them pulled out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
There should
we
have been
need
4
to,
sheets. You didn't get,
I have 1, 2, for attorney bills?
yeah.
I've got,
you have all of them.
okay, but there's only 3 pages of attorney bills.
1, 2, 3.
Here.
Yeah, 3 pages.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 pages.
So
So you
we-
have the bills.
So we
Okay,
need
I've got
to
'em.
Yeah.
vote
And that's for
on the,
9G. That's for 9G.
Right,
need to vote on the
Okay.
agenda.
I made a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, and Sarah second.
We approved the agenda as presented.
We
Yes,
only
we haven't done
presented,
Okay.
yeah, we only did the set and amend the agenda, and that's it.
Okay,
So is the agenda approved as presented?
yes.
Yeah.
All right, any issues?
I'm voting no on it.
Okay.
Okay. Public comments?
Actually, I did have 1, 2, oh, go ahead, Jay.
Jason Berger, 21200 Armada Ridge Road. I live in an agricultural preservation zone. One of the many stated purposes for this agricultural preservation zone is 1, encourage the continued use and preservation of Armada Township productive agricultural land. You fine folks represent me and many others that live in this agricultural preservation zone. One of your duties to myself and the others in this community is to represent our interest and develop policy accordingly. You are the legislative branch of Armada Township. What's unique in this situation is that you, the Township Board, have the authority to call on county officials and law enforcement for their assistance if you need it. You authorize that assistance and you direct that assistance. Section 15 of the Armada Animal Control Ordinance is the source for that. Another responsibility you have is in our agricultural community is to represent the Right to Farm Act, to respect the Right to Farm Act. which very clearly states, and I have a copy of it for you guys because it doesn't sound like some of you have read it, in the express, and I don't mean that in the sarcastic way that it sounded. In the express, it is the express legislative intent that this act preempt any local ordinance, regulation, or resolution, I'm quoting from the Right to Farm Act, that purports to extend or revise in any manner the provisions of this act or generally accepted agricultural and management practices developed under this act. Except as otherwise provided in this section, a local unit of government shall not enact, maintain, or enforce an ordinance, regulation, or resolution that conflicts in any manner with this act or generally accepted agriculture and management practices developed under this act. So why, for a year and a half now, have some of you folks been spineless in protecting our community members against an activist that you have the control to dictate the assistance of? And worse yet, some of you downright and openly defying the Right to Farm Act. You, John, with your dirty, manipulative methodology, even sat here in the last meeting I spoke at and underhandedly threatened to accept Randazzo's ordinance against farm animals. My case is pretty simple, and the Right to Farm Act is not ambiguous whatsoever. Someone called the dog catcher because of a young heifer mooing incessantly for head scratches. The dog catcher, who had never been on a farm before, showed up and thought they would apply rules that apply to household pets to farm animals. And they were wrong. We know they were wrong because even though the township didn't call the authority on the farm animals, I did. I called the state veterinarian's office and I called MDARD to request that both of them come out and confirm everything on my operation was in conformance with GAMPS. They confirmed and sent to the clerk of our township and the clerk of the county a report stating that the animals were in ideal body condition and that I was in conformance with GAMPS. That should have been the end of this, but since then my rights have been trampled. I'm scheduled to finally win my case tomorrow morning. I'm being told that Christine Anderson has suggested that you guys drop the case. And simultaneously, Spalding, Patrick, and the activist dog catcher are trying to pull some strings at the county
Mr.
level.
Berger, you used your 3 minutes, but you need to speak with your attorney. There's nothing we can really discuss because it's in court.
In the past, the 3 minutes has not been respected, and I wasn't told, you didn't make an announcement at the beginning that we were abiding by those 3 minutes. In the past, people have gone 10 minutes with no objections. I would appreciate at least those 3 more minutes to finish my statement.
I'll give him 3 more minutes,
I think that's more than fair, thank you.
but it'll be by the chair.
Excuse me?
I said, but it'll be by the chair, not the rant from the audience.
I'm being told that Christine Anderson, basically I'm being told that you're gonna drop the case. And what I'm asking, this is throwing me off a lot, but basically what I'm asking for you to do is let the case go on tomorrow or have it so that it will be dismissed. I know that I'll win my case tomorrow. Or I'm being asked for one of the board members to state a motion or ask the board to vote on requesting that Christine Anderson request from the judge that it's dismissed with prejudice. This board has allowed the supervisor and the deputy supervisor to take control of the authority that the board wields by allowing the supervisor and deputy supervisor to intercept communications on an issue that the board is the governing body of for a year and a half. Stop it, do what's expected of you, have a spine today, and do what is right before this happens to you, your kids, and the other people that we care about in our community. To clarify, I'm asking that you let my case go in front of the judge, or I'm asking that you demand that Christine Anderson, who is dismissing my case, and if she is, request that it's done with prejudice. Dismissing my case with prejudice means that it was dismissed with merit and prevents this gross weaponization of our judicial system to continue. Please don't hide behind the attorney. You have the authority here. This is why we elected you. It might seem challenging, and the attorney may sound convincing, But you know the facts and this specific situation, and you have all been presented with the information about my case in great detail, along with a clear understanding of the Right to Farm Act and how it applies.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. You need to speak with your attorney, Mr. Kochkar.
You may want to do the same.
Any other public comments? Well, Pat.
Good evening. My name is Pat Gaxtetter. I live at 23535 Armada Center Road in Armada. I'm in the township, but so is the village, as a reminder. I'm here tonight because I want people to remember what this nation is founded on. We're founded on grassroots. We're not founded on Washington, D.C. What goes on in Washington may affect our tax dollars federally. But what goes on here at home affects us personally. We need to listen to one another. We need to stop the bickering. We need to remember where we come from. We're supposed to be a people who spread kindness, not dissension, rumors, lies. God knows what else we've talked about each other. We're here to remember that our forefathers committed treason in order to found this nation. We kind of forget that. They were terrorists. We forget that. We want everything to just go hunky-dory and everything be smooth and everything be nice and no change. It doesn't work that way. This nation is built on change, and we shouldn't be afraid of change. We should not be afraid to find out what's going on, whether you're in this hall or hearing this in the comfort of your home on YouTube. Do you really know what's on the ballot in August? August is more important at home than November. Please be informed. Ask questions. Don't just assume, oh, well, we'll just, as usual, keep going. If we did that, education would be in the toilet. We can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. We can't be afraid of change. We can't be afraid of finding out what's going on. How will it affect my family, your family, our children, our grandchildren? Are we going to try and leave a better place for our grandchildren? This is their home. We want them to come home. Don't just get your education and move out of Armada and go to someplace else. Come back. This is home. Don't be afraid of change. And like it or not, in August, all of us are going to vote Republican because that's where everything is. Whether or not you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian or Greenpeace or God knows what else, I don't care. But we all have to remember that on that August ballot, we're all going to be Republicans. Because that's the only way we have control over our own personal destiny. Be informed. Don't leave it to the neighbor. Oh, well, I'll ask my neighbor who to vote for. I heard that today from somebody. What? Don't ask your neighbor. You can ask your neighbor an opinion. You make your own decision. You're an adult. You have the right. There are people in this world today who are giving their lives to have what we have. And we have men and women who are dying today to protect what we have. So let's not squander it. My plea to everyone who hears this is, be an informed voter and vote in August as if your life depends on it, because it does. Thank you very much.
Well said, Pat. Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
probably remember me from last time. I have some new statistics for you.
What's your name again, sir? What's your name again?
I'm Greg Hill, Crooked Creek Farm Dairy. In the last 5 years, we've lost just under 1 million farms in the U.S. with a combined loss of 163 million acres, 100.63 million acres of farmland. There'll never be farmland again. Okay, this is not sustainable. You can't keep losing land, you can't keep losing farmers and expect that they're gonna produce all the food you're gonna need. It's not gonna happen. I don't care if you use new math or what, it's just not gonna happen. And here's some other statistics. Okay, you got less than 1.5% of the population feed 98% of the population. In 1940, each farmer fed 16.5 people, and 16, each farmer fed 166, and projected in 2050, that each farmer will increase that by 70% more. According to the Iowa State University, projected cost for 2024 is $5.14 for a bushel of corn. Right today, the price of the farmer is $4.03, a loss of $1.11. They wanted to say the soybeans cost is $11.24 a bushel, and the price is $11.44, which is a profit of 20 cents. How are you going to sustain that? How are you going to be able to keep these farmers going? And especially that, like I said before, you're losing the young farmers. I don't know why you want to, but obviously you do, because you're not doing anything about it. You should be backing these people. You should be helping them. You got to think about your grandchildren. Are they going to eat? You're going to depend on Bill Gates? You're going to have lab-produced beef or meat? Who's the number one owner of farmland in the U.S.? No. Bill Gates. Number 2 is China. Do you want your future in either one of those two hands? Bill Gates has backed vaccines. He's backed abortion. He's backed cloud seeding for the purpose of reflecting the sunlight to reduce climate change, which the only thing that's happened so far is it's changed the weather. It's changed the jet stream to where we have 3 and 4 days of rain at a time now. I don't know if you looked around, but there's a lot of ground out here that can't be planted. It's just too wet. It's not going to happen. And this is all over the U.S. So I would implore you to support the younger farmers, because I have no idea why they want to do it. Some guy comes to me and says, listen, I want to farm. I'll tell him, you need your head examined. I said, it's 7 days a week, 10 to 14 hours a day, including Christmas. I've been doing this in the dairy business, in the dairy farm, for 56 years, and the dairy for 43 years. Combined, that's 99 years experience. I think I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. And a word of warning, it's coming. I know you don't think so, but it's coming. If you don't do anything, like a steamroller will roll over you. So think about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments?
I just had something.
Okay.
I just want to clarify something about last month's comments at the meeting, that it's illegal to campaign at the podium during a public comment. So I contacted MTA, and there's nothing illegal about talking during public comment of a township meeting about running for office. You can't use public resources or things like that for campaigning, but simply talking during a public meeting is not using township resources, so it's not illegal.
Thank you.
And then I did have something, if the board allow me to read something from Marcia. She wanted me to read, she sent it to me by email yesterday. and she couldn't be here.
It usually has to go to all board members if it's gonna be read at public
Yeah, we
comment.
talked about that.
Public comment by Marcia Hollins, 20120 Armada Ridge Road, June 12th, 2024. For the upcoming election, I am asking the board to approve free background checks for incumbent officers and trustee and all future candidates. Benefits of using background checks for township officers. Number one, enhance public safety, prevention of crime by ensuring that individuals with criminal backgrounds or tendencies are not in positions of power. The likelihood of criminal activities within the township is reduced. Trustworthy enforcement. Officers with clean records are more likely to be trusted by the community, which enhances the effectiveness of law enforcement. Number two, reduction of liability, legal protection. Background checks can protect the township from legal liability by demonstrating due diligence in the hiring process. Risk mitigation, identifying political red flags in an officer's history can prevent future incidents that might lead to costly lawsuits or settlements. 3, improve community trust. Transparency and accountability. Regular background checks promote a culture of transparency and accountability, which fosters trust between the township officers and the community they serve. Reputation management. Ensuring that officers are vetted helps maintain a positive reputation for the township's government. Number 4, higher standards of conduct. Professionalism. Officers who have passed rigorous background checks are likely to maintain higher standards of conduct, knowing that their records have been thoroughly examined. Deterrence of misconduct. The knowledge that background checks are conducted can deter potential candidates with questionable backgrounds from applying, thereby raising the overall quality of the applicant pool. Number 5, efficient and effective governance. Selection of competent personnel. Background checks can verify the educational qualifications and past employment history of candidates, ensuring that only the most competent and qualified individuals are selected. Consistency and enforcement. By electing officers with clean records, the township can ensure consistent and fair enforcement of laws and regulations, leading to better governance. Number 6, enhance morale among officers. Fair hiring practices. Knowing that all colleagues have undergone the same level of scrutiny can enhance morale and create a sense of fairness within the force. Cohesiveness, team dynamics. A team of officers who have all been vetted can work more cohesively as they are likely to share similar values and professional standards. Marcia Hollins.
That's done by the county?
No. But it goes back what Pat said, you do your own research. I think that's what she's getting at. I'm not sure, but.
Well,
Marcia-
background checks are
Yeah, you can't do
different than-
background checks. No,
Yeah,
no. So, but do your own due diligence.
Okay. Are
most
there any
people
other
do
public
anyway.
comments? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, i.e. other than the bill that Monica pulled?
Items as presented, yes. I'll second it, or I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
So, yes, Marie?
Yes,
Patrick?
Yes.
Joe?
No, I don't like consent agendas.
Fire Department retirement. Chief Coat, after very careful consideration, I am announcing my retirement from the Armada Township Fire Department. My last scheduled shift will be Wednesday, June 5th, with a final day of Saturday, June 8th. I am grateful for having had the opportunity to continue my fire service career with the township. The men and women of Armada Township Fire Department have made my time here immensely rewarding and enjoyable. I cannot adequately express how much I have appreciated my time with the department. I would like to stress the fact that I am leaving out of a desire to pursue a new direction, not due to any frustration or complaint. It is just the right time to make this change. I will be following the progress of the department with interest and wish everyone the best. A motion to accept Matthew Hanna's retirement letter with regret.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
New full-time hire. It is my intention Clerk Swacky, it is my intention to hire David Geisler, effective June 6, 2004, to replace Lieutenant Matt Hanna, who is separating services from the Armada Fire the same date. Lieutenant Hanna's departure would create a gap in the department's full-time staff of 12 firefighter paramedics, if not filled. Mr. Geisler is currently employed with the Armada Township Fire Department as a part-time firefighter paramedic who meets all of the qualifications and has passed both background and physical exams for employment. Mr. Geisler will be sworn in as a member of the Armada Township Fire the morning of June 6th. I'll report to B shift for duty on Monday, June 10th, 2024.
I'll make that motion to hire David Geisler, effective June 6, 2024, at an hourly rate of $17.31.
Support.
Murray?
Yes.
Swack, yes. Job?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes. Fire Department Dispatch Services, our new contract is in with the Macomb County Contact Division, or Dispatch Services. I trust you've had time to review. I would make a motion to approve the Macomb County's request for services of $64,201 in 2025, $65,956 in 2026, and $67,560 in 2027.
I'll support, oh, go ahead, sir.
I'll support that. Thank you.
Are there any questions about the contract?
No.
Mary?
It is
Murray?
expensive.
Yes.
Swack, yes. Job?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes. Policies and procedures. We did, turn in our
I talked to
employee
Jim,
appraisal form.
yeah, I talked to Jim, when we do like the formatting for this, we'll send all the changes to him since he did the last changes. So that way everything's all the same, the presentation and everything.
Okay,
So is the board going to be seeing these once they're in?
yes,
Good, because I still never got the one from the former fire chief. And I just think that it's important that the board knows that they're being done and that we know the results of them. What challenges are there? What's going really great? What's not going so good?
I'll make the motion to amend page 10, section 4.0, personnel administration, by adding under B, after personnel duties, the end of line 9, refer to form in the back of a manual for board-approved appraisal form. That's all we're doing, is adding that to the,
Okay, but the other thing is like, I also talked to the MTA, and the MTA said that all deputies need to have written, there needs to be a written,
okay, this is an appraisal form. for
okay, but the
employment.
appraisal form, but how are we gonna know if they're doing their duties if we don't have a job description? They kinda go hand in hand.
well, I've given job descriptions several times for my deputy, and they're
And
also in
mine
the
is the
policy,
same
they're in the
also.
policies too. I mean, they do a lot more than what is in the policies and procedures as well.
They do?
So, but right now, we're just adding the form
Okay.
to the book, so that when, after the evaluation is done, give the board members a copy.
Because we don't have an approved employee appraisal form.
Right, yeah, now we do. So I made the motion to approve the appraisal form.
Support.
Murray?
Yes.
Swack, yes. Job?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes. Okay. The senior center, credit card
The cash receipting?
and cash receipting. I did notice the one on the first one, at the bottom, senior director has issued a township credit card.
It should be
with
1,500.
It's 1,500?
It's 1,500.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, after talking with not only Donna, but Treasurer, it would seem that any funds generated by the seniors coming to the senior center should be put into an income line for the senior center. That money should be used to pay the credit card should be used to,
We do have that for events.
Yes,
It's under there. We do have
you
that.
put it in events?
yes,
Yep.
everything that goes
Yep.
through the senior center is labeled through the events line item.
Okay.
It's received.
Is there any other money that comes in for the seniors?
Well, it just
Other
said,
than just events?
No, just the events that they
yeah,
do.
there's,
Well,
money for bingo, money for crafts.
yeah, but that's
money
all
for
through the
bingo,
senior center.
But it's under a
Right,
separate
but
line
then
item.
does that, is there a separate line for that? That's a point, because at some point, you know, it should be kind of like paying for itself.
Well, at least it's a compensation back. I didn't know that it was going into the events line because crafts is an event, bingo's an event,
We could
their
just
Tai
put
Chi's an
events
event,
miscellaneous.
it's just in-house as opposed to we're going on a field
Well,
trip or a bus trip.
See, I would
In
have thought
the-
the same thing, that
when I
it was going,
cash
an
receipt
event is.
everything,
But I think,
if there's a description line, so if they're paying for bingo, I put bingo. If they're
I
paying for
think what I'm
crafts, I
saying
put
though is
crafts.
the senior center cash receiving events, if you will, when it says all money turned in must be deposited into the township account, I think it needs to specify the budget line that it's going into. It
The
needs-
income, the revenue coming in
Yes.
should be, right, I
Yes.
agree, I agree.
So you can just add the general ledger line number.
Right,
All right.
so that the money goes in there and you know that's the money for events and it's an income and you can use that to offset the credit card charges, whatever.
Right, and I itemize, like I was saying, I itemize everything. If money's coming in for bingo, it's marked bingo. If it's crafts, it's marked crafts.
Right.
If it's, you know, any of the field trips they do, the description is,
Yeah, and
What that-
that's internal auditing. That's
Right.
something your auditor would go through and say, yeah, okay, it came in and this is where it went.
right.
So it's
And I'm
correct.
also like auditing like their Christmas dinner, their luncheon that they had last year and stuff. And so I can see how much was paid for certain things and how much it came in and know whether it broke even or if we lost money or if they made money and what they can use it for, or whatever. Just so that everything's on the up and up, or
And again,
everything's even.
This isn't really per se here to be approved, it's here to say this is the
Yeah.
process.
Mhm.
That's the things, those are the things that I saw. Is there anything else the board sees that in this process that could be somewhat, changed, altered, better defined?
I think GL number would do it all.
I actually thought
What do you think?
1,500 was a lot of money for that, for a month, $1,500. I mean, do they ever go over that? Do they, like, I can
No.
see like a bus trip,
Well,
But
bus
we already
trips are
approved
paid
it.
Bus
for
trips
by
That
the
doesn't go
government
on
or
there.
through the
not.
community.
That's
Well, that's
true.
just, okay, now
Funds.
she's got a $1,500 credit card, that doesn't mean she can't use it for an emergency hot water heater.
oh, okay,
You know, something along
Okay.
those lines, it's for the senior center,
Okay.
so it just doesn't go underneath events if that's the case.
okay.
It goes under the purchasing policy. I have no problem with that. And then just add the GL line number there, and then
Mhm.
for the credit card, make that $1,500.
Okay,
Okay.
then what about the cash receiving process?
Yeah, that's for the events? Yeah, I think
Well,
that,
this is cash receiving for any money that's coming into the senior center.
Yep, I think
Separating the
that's-
tip
yeah,
money
that
from
reads it.
township money.
that reads well.
They need to keep that separate and take care of their bus driver, whatever,
Right.
on their own. That's
Yep.
not something the township should do.
Right,
Yep.
No.
That reads well.
right.
Okay.
And then,
Fire
fire department
bill.
BS&A payables.
I don't think that's necessary to change any of that. I think we just follow the payables, what's in place on page 29 there.
Well,
There's nothing different.
I do, this is what he wants, it's his department. We had that BSNA meeting with them. It was clear that some things that were, should have been done weren't, and he didn't know, and he was learning, and it's his department and how he wants to handle it.
So what things weren't being done?
You were there.
Can you tell me?
He wasn't scanning all the bills into his budget lines as they came in.
He wasn't? I scanned them all before he started. Yeah,
But
he's
and then
got
he
the-
got a scanner, and then he started scanning them
Right,
in,
and
and
he's got
he's
the
putting the bills
BS&A
in.
now too.
Right.
Right.
Right, so there's really no difference.
Well, the only other thing is that they, once he's got them scanned in, according to this, once they're scanned into the program, the attachment is there.
Yep, absolutely.
then
That's what I
the
do.
bills go directly to the supervisor for signing or review and acknowledgement, rather than,
And that's how they always go.
no, they go to you and then you give them to the supervisor. So it's just eliminating
Oh
a
my.
step.
They
But-
should always,
but
he always
they-
gives them to me, and then I stamp them, I give them to John to sign.
The
It's a
clerk
process
is
that
responsible
works.
for making sure that the bills get paid, so why would they go to the supervisor? That is the
Because-
way.
No, they come to me for an acknowledgement.
All
They
of the
don't.
bills for the township, whether they go to the clerk or to me or to him or to whoever,
Why can't they just be scanned to both of you, and that way it's done? Just scan them to the supervisor and the clerk at the same time, one email, attach it, the PDF, and away you go.
because he doesn't scan to email, he scans it directly into the payables
It goes in the
program.
program. The
It's-
chief gives them to me. He's already put them in BSNA. I stamp them for John, John acknowledged the receipt of paying that bill. I put him in his door to sign. And that works fine.
Seems fine.
It's been working fine for, I don't see an issue, but
Well, one thing that I noticed that he is doing is when he does scan the bills in, he puts in the correct invoice date, post date, expected check run date, and the
if
the
he puts in
actual
the
due
expected
date.
check run date, I always look at when they're due. It'll just mess me up.
Right,
I've
well,
been
he
doing this
already-
since 2008.
I know, but in that
meeting.
meeting, you put in the same date for everything, which is what you said during that meeting. So the due date, he's putting in the actual due date that wasn't being done before.
It's all getting paid.
Whatever. Just telling you, you were at the same meeting I was.
Okay, and again, these are for, review and discussion. If anybody wants to see any
No,
verbiage changed, it'd be a good thing to get it
Nope.
to me.
no, not on that.
Michigan Township Association's annual dues.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual dues in the amount of $7,318 and $219.54 for legal defense fund contribution totaling $7,537.54.
I'll support, but I have a question. The legal defense fund contribution, they say is optional,
Right.
and we all have contacted them with various matters, legal and otherwise. They always give us their thoughts and then tell us that, of course, we need to speak to our own legal counsel.
But that was for remember when we had the llamas?
Yep.
They,
So I wondered, that's what I was wondering, why then do we do that with the legal defense fund if, or do we just have to call our own attorney anyway?
When they came in with the, homegrown medical marijuana, the legal defense fund there actually put in $5,000 to create a brief and send to the court, because we still didn't believe it was fair for us not to have the ability to say where it can be done. It just can't be done in a house. You know, we wanted to be able to put it in the industrial corridor as it was, so after 3 or 4 years of everybody bouncing off the walls, they finally passed a law that said the townships do have the right to limit that area, which is when we passed an ordinance,
I remember that,
restricting
okay.
it to the industrial corridor.
Okay, I just wondered what I mean, it's only $200, so it's,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
it's for,
you know, but,
if we
Yeah.
need their attorneys to give us legal advice.
okay, no problem, thank you.
Or support us in a legal position in a court case.
But they do always say, contact your own legal
Oh, yeah.
counsel.
always, yeah.
Yeah, because we're not paying them to be legal counsel, is what it comes down to.
Marie?
Yes,
Swack, yes. Job?
No.
Patrick?
Yep. And then the other thing too, on that, on scanning the bills and stuff, I have no way to oversee the bills getting taken out of the accounts or whatnot on BSNA, so I'm totally out of that loop, as far as what's in the payables, or what's being paid and what budget lines.
Well, all you gotta do is look at the general ledger, you can pull that up. Robin has that, you've got
Done
the
it.
ability to pull it up and print. You can look at that.
Okay, because we haven't been able to print, reports.
She
so-
should have been able to, I don't see why not. It's
Okay.
been in there, you've always been able to view and print.
Right,
If she's got issues again, let me know.
okay. Amendment to the Armada Township, Planning and Zoning Fee Schedule, Resolution Number 2024-04. Taylor Reynolds, sent us a fee schedule. The fee schedule hasn't been modified in Armada since 2014. It's been 10 years. I trust the board has had a chance to go through the fee schedule. What's changed is in red. What was original is redlined out.
I'll make the motion to adopt resolution 2024-04 amendments to planning and zoning fee schedule as presented and to publish accordingly.
Support.
So I guess, Murray?
Yes.
Can I just say something?
Yep.
Why did we go, why didn't we go more toward, like, in between? Because Ray
But you did
Township is 300
comparisons.
to 700 on all of that. So anywhere from I think we're more like Ray than we are Bruce or Washington Township. We're more on that scale.
This was not
Again,
us
these are
setting-
recommendations.
It was Spalding presenting what they're looking for.
It's been 10 years and they've had the same rates for 10 years, and that's pretty remarkable.
Well, aren't they the ones for, are they doing all Spalding? This is, so if we're looking at,
This is all of the fees for planning and zoning for Spalding.
So
Not-
are they doing-
It wouldn't have anything to do with anything that the township is asking them to do on the township's behalf.
Building or
This is
engineering or
only
anything
for
like that.
planning and zoning
I see that.
fees.
But do they, what I'm saying is, are they the engineers for Ray and Bruce and Washington as well?
Apparently, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, they provided that comparison. I didn't do that. They provided that comparison for us.
Well, alrighty. They're going up 135%, but they haven't been up in 10 years, so,
Joe?
on a lot of the stuff,
Yep.
on the second page.
Joe?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Dang it.
The question I had on the Seaward Delasky was the clerk's position as FOIA coordinator, and then being, I think you filed a personal FOIA, doesn't matter what that was about, but you had filed a FOIA as a resident.
Well, I started with just asking Chris. It's
No,
all
I mean, I'm
about,
talking about the
The actual
process, whether,
FOIA
it doesn't
request.
matter how it started or whatever. You're the FOIA coordinator and you provided a personal FOIA. My question to the board was gonna be, in that case, because you're the FOIA coordinator and you do have to do your research on the FOIA, should there be an alternate FOIA coordinator for when the FOIA coordinator themselves files a personal FOIA?
that
Because,
would be an attorney question. It's a tricky situation. I don't even have to actually file a FOIA. I tried that the first time by asking for the document. She didn't want to provide it because I asked for a clerk friend. And we do that. We share documents, we share resolutions, all that. It shouldn't have been any big deal, but it got to a big deal.
but that,
So
right,
then
but
I
that was
I
that
filed
was
my own FOIA.
That was my
So, and I
question, because
can't.
when you look at anybody else's FOIA,
So, but it doesn't matter. It's a
they-
request for a document and she didn't give me the document. That's why the bill is so big.
Because the document doesn't exist.
It
There
does
was no
exist.
no,
document.
There's
no, we're not
contradiction.
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about, if a regular resident puts in a FOIA, they can't access the attorney for that information. So the only one that's supposed to be accessing the attorney for information is the FOIA coordinator, the clerk. So, but when the clerk turns one in personally, when the FOIA coordinator turns one in personally, should there be an alternate FOIA coordinator to do that as opposed to the person that filed the FOIA? Because the residents aren't allowed the same privilege to access our attorney.
I can ask Christine that. I have no idea.
Okay,
The
that-
residents
I've always
aren't
done.
afforded
that's
Yeah.
my
a
question.
lot of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
And
even
the
know what you're talking
residents-
about. What are you guys even talking about?
We're talking about.
What was the form? What form?
It was a request for, when Chris was taking the,
training.
helping out in the building department, she was writing her own manual just in case, for somebody else to come, okay? I remember her doing that. So in February, I saw on a Facebook post, clerks are looking for, actually one clerk firm was looking for like shortcuts on how they do your building or how you do this or that, and even like resolutions, and I thought, oh, I think I might be able to help them, so I asked Chris for that. She didn't wanna give it to me, cause those are her personal notes, her manual, those are her
Well,
personal
the
notes.
fact that
And then John,
she
and then,
also got the job, as. the,
right, but
uh,
it's,
building
I'm just saying, she
administrator
did create the
didn't have to
document, the emails
set up
prove
that
that there is a manual that exists, she doesn't wanna give it to me.
Okay, did she do the documents while she was working here at the
Yes.
township? Then they are not her documents.
If
They are the
personal
township.
notes, they
No,
are.
They're not, no,
Anything
any
is
personal notes.
FOIA-able. I've had to
Alright,
turn in my
this-
personal
okay,
notes to
I
the
put this-
deputy
I
supervisor.
put this
Yep.
on the agenda, and it was about whoever the FOIA coordinator is. If that FOIA coordinator puts in a FOIA, should there be an alternate FOIA coordinator for that particular FOIA?
I can ask Christine.
Which
actually.
takes the other,
It
which
That-
shouldn't,
takes the,
it shouldn't,
Why are we wasting
happen.
money on the attorney to do this?
yeah.
It's
Well,
not
they'll
her
give it to me.
personal information. We're in court right now for stuff that went deleted because why? And now it's the
That's a
same
very
thing.
good
So what's
question.
different? So what's the difference here? What is the difference? And it should be a thing of like,
It
I
should
would
have
be
been
proud of
provided.
it. Hey, somebody
it
else
should've been-
wants to
sure.
use my information. I think that's a very good thing. I think that's a proud thing.
right.
Nothing in here is anybody's personal anything.
No,
okay, so should we ask Siebert if that's potentially the way we can set up?
I can ask Christine about,
Oh my
have an
If
alternate
we
FOIA
just had
coordinator.
people that got
If I'm
along,
at-
it would be
yeah.
ideal.
Yeah.
Have her send
It was just a
That's-
simple request, I didn't even have to do the
So,
FOIA form,
That's my question.
so.
I don't know that a regular person putting in a FOIA has that ability.
And this
Well,
is
I
why,
will ask
people, we
Christine.
spent $3,100 on the attorney bill last month. $3,100.
It's not all on it,
That's on everything.
No,
it's everything.
the
so.
actual, and the cost
Those 450.
for that particular FOIA from a private residence who happens to be the clerk was $480 out of that $2,500.
Yeah, and if I was provided the information, nothing of this would happen.
Well,
So anyways, I'll make a motion to pay the invoice as presented, invoice number 13040 as presented in the amount of $3,100.
Support.
Swank, yes. Murray?
no,
Job?
No.
Patrick?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to pay the attorney bills $2,070, which is $480 less than billed, and that $480 is the amount it cost for the clerk's conversations with the attorney over this FOIA request. Or
And I am the
resident,
FOIA coordinator. so-
resident Mary Swayacki's
Okay, I put it as a resident,
conversation.
but I'm still the clerk.
She's still the FOIA
I'm still the
coordinator.
clerk, the FOIA coordinator. I should have just,
She is still the FOIA
Well, I
coordinator.
made a motion. If there's support or not, I really don't care.
So just so you know, and then we spent a total of $2,900 on the burger case. That is for Randazzo and Sanchez, and $960 for a burger. This is just unbelievable to me. So I will start posting all of the attorney bills on a monthly basis.
They're already online.
so the motion
it-
fails and we're not paying the attorney bill. So I'll have to put it on the agenda for next month.
Yep,
I'll call
it was due
Christine.
to. Animal control ordinance. Everybody got the email from Christine?
It was a very dramatic and emotional email. Had no place coming from her, none at all. From Christine Anderson, the attorney that we're paying for this. Last month's meeting had nothing to do with the animal control ordinance other than changing the definition of what a domestic animal is and what livestock, a farm animal is. That was it. That was it. And we get an email that was very just emotional and dramatic, uncalled for from our legal counsel.
Okay, and it does say an ordinance may not be amended simply by a motion of the township board.
So
An ordinance must be amended in the same way ordinances are generally prepared by legal counsel to ensure statutory requirements are met and the ordinance is enforceable.
The ordinance wasn't being changed, just the definition. And at that meeting, Mary had stated it's not going to take effect until it's published and then 10 days after the publication, it would take effect.
But it goes back
That's
to
basically
regulatory. We
what-
have to,
That is,
we didn't do it the right
that's
way.
basically
Yeah.
what her ordinance said. That's basically what her ordinance said, which it was like, why did we do this? You stated that at the meeting last month.
but it's a regulatory, and I didn't realize, we don't do this all the time, so it's just definitions. So the only thing we have to do right now is rescind it and then decide what we're gonna do after, right, John?
Actually, my request
So, so the thing was, John, you would have to rescind your motion, and I would have to second it.
I am not going to rescind my motion. So,
My
you guys
request
figured
was
out.
to add it to both ordinances, not just the one you guys picked. And it was approved by the majority of the board, which you guys hide behind often.
I know, but it was done incorrectly, is what it is right now.
My request was that it was added to both ordinances.
Again, the ordinance was changed improperly, and it would be defendable. So if Monica doesn't want to rescind her
I am not going to
motion,
rescind
then
it.
we move on to legal counsel for ordinances.
Right.
Like the ordinance you just approved before?
The legal counsel for its background, the board received proper instruction on amending township ordinances from the township attorney. Having our township attorney involved in our ordinances in any manner is to our benefit legally and to ensure all laws are followed. I'd like to make a motion to have the township attorney prepare the township ordinances, changes, or additions to ensure the township meets the statutory requirements of regulatory ordinances and ensure the ordinances are enforceable by law.
I'll second that.
Who runs this? The board or the
This is by the attorney.
Obviously, it's not the board.
Did you support it, Mary?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
So can we have discussion on that?
Yeah.
We have had.
But this is what we have to
We are paying
do the-
8,500, we just voted on it, for the MTA to get information and then to have, and then we have to, their comment is usually 90% of the time, contact your township attorney. So why are we paying them? And then I'm telling you, the money that we are spending out in attorney fees on just nonsense is absolutely ridiculous. I would have said that when I was on that side of this table, and now that I'm up here. I am appalled at what is happening. We either need to have the township attorney here
Gavel.
every month, or we need to have the MTA, or deal with the MTA.
She had a discussion.
Yeah, we know. Well, we're paying for it anyway because the monthly bills are out of control.
Point of order.
You're supposed to be addressing the board here.
You guys
This is
don't
discussion.
seem to care.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the monthly bills are out of control. We either need to have the township attorney here at every meeting.
I tried that, and they voted that down.
Well, try it again. We'll try it next month because this is out of control.
Go ahead, Mary.
All right, let's see, John made the motion, I second it. Swayze, yes. Murray?
Yes.
Joe?
No.
Patrick?
Yes. Special land use Miller Farms. We did get a statement from the planning commission. Jeff and Stacy have been doing a wonderful job of going through the process to seek approval. We did get a recommendation from the planning commission for their indoor-outdoor events. They would like to be able to host a variety of events for those in the community, including baby and bridal showers, birthday parties, weddings, trunk and treat, car shows, and more. We do understand that for new existing buildings, we must meet all fire building codes in order to occupy the facility.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to approve the special land use for an event hosting facility under ordinance section 16.39 to be located at 71800 Romeo Plank with a limit of 99 people indoors and for events to end no later than 11 p.m. contingent on full site plan approval as it meets the standards of section 16.1 of the zoning ordinance.
Support.
So yes, Murray?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Better?
Yes.
And then I'll make a motion to approve the special land use under section 8.0 1.01BL agribusiness ancillary uses for outdoor events to be located at 71800 Romeo Plank with maximum 40,000 square feet of event space and for events to end no later than 11 p.m. contingent on full site plan approval as it meets all standards in section 16.101 of the zoning ordinance.
Support.
Which prohibits tractor pulls, right?
Right, that
They
is
both
pulled.
have,
Which
yeah.
prohibits tractor pulls.
Right,
No.
that is,
All right, who second?
I did.
Sweattick, yes, Maureen?
Yes,
Joe?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes. There was another request, by the Millers, to do the manufacture of food and beverage, to have the ability, to manufacture their own food and beverage within their facility, as they are in compliance with all codes. And that, was postponed, because they need more description and, verbiage in the motion. And then the other one was having a year-round kitchen, so he could operate 12 months, which is part of the SAA. They would like to make their kitchen a year-round kitchen to serve food to their guests with a broader menu for everyday eats. It is important to them to be sure their kitchen facilities meets fire, health, and building codes so we can produce. We have already gone through all of these inspections to be in compliance. And again, that's one that the planning commission felt they needed more verbiage on.
we do. The planning commission agreed, that we needed more work on that. We need to look at that more in depth and see make sure that everything's covered. And we were here till 11:15 last Wednesday night through the planning commission, so
Yeah.
we did get a lot done, but we wanted to make sure that we at least got something done for
But
Mr. Miller.
I'll give the planning commission accolades to try to get it done at that level, because it's not, we don't need to postpone anymore than at all possible. So I appreciate your patience and your working with the board.
And they said just kind of continue what I'm doing now until you guys get your end covered, I guess? or-
Yeah, the planning commission will get it back.
And I'm gonna apologize, I did, get my report done, it was after the deadline. I made copies for everyone and forgot to put them out here at the place, so I'll grab them and give them to you, take home and read, but yeah.
I watched the meeting.
We
It was a long
will
one.
handle those
It
other
was a long one.
items requested by the Millers in a future meeting. So, trustee Joe?
Nothing, thank you.
Treasurer Murray?
The only thing I'd like to say is I think we need to, work on talking about the fire department, facility and stuff like that, so that needs to, they gave us their presentation and it's kinda sat, for a bit. I know I've talked to them, but I think we need to pull that together. Prices are continuing to rise and stuff, and we need to at least have more discussion.
Perfect.
Okay. Clerk Sviacki?
Nothing.
I'd like to, make a motion to adjourn at, 7:58.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.